Hello and welcome to SudoKanard. We're here to solve this mini killer Sudoku that I created for the French puzzle meeting in Paris recently. And it comes with a quite unusual rule, which is, well, the rule of killer Sudoku is well known. Those digits must all be different, and their sum is given in the corner. So those four digits must be different. Their sum is 13. The sum of the digits here is 19. But the twist is that the digits are not necessarily the digits from 1 to 9. You must find a set of 6 digits between 1 and 9 and solve the puzzle with this. So this was the actual puzzle, and there was another mini killer Sudoku in the instruction booklet also of my design, and I thought I would do a video where I would solve both of them. And let's start with the example puzzle. So the first thing here is to find what the digits are. And you can see that this 12 is somewhat constrained. There are only two possibilities, which are 1, 2, 3, 6 and 1, 2, 4, 5. But in both cases, you must have the 1 and the 2, which means that in this area, you must also have the 1 and the 2. And there are several possibilities of doing 26, but none of them include a 1. So the 1 must be here. So we can remove 1 from here. And there is an option with the 2. But if I put the 2 in here, then the digits must be 2, 7, 8, and 9. But then we must also put 7, 8, and 9 in here. But none of those digits fit with the 12 cage, so we would have to put 7, 8, and 9 in those two cells, which is impossible. So what we learn from that is that 2 does not belong in this area, so this is a 1-2 pair, which means that 2 is not in here, and we now know that the sum of all digits is 29. So having 12 here, the sum here is 17, which can only be achieved with 8 and 9. And actually 9 here is too big. It would need 3 digits summing to 5, which is impossible. So that's the 8, that's the 9. And the only way to complete this to 14 is to have 1, 2, and 3. So we now know that this is with 1, 2, 3, and 6. And this is from 3 and 6, and this is also from 3 and 6. So now we have 3, 6, 8, and 9 in here, and we can begin to really solve the puzzle. So 9 by the rules of Sudoku goes there, and we see here that we need 8 and 9 in those cells. But there is a 9 here, so that's 8, that's 9, and to complete to 18, this has to be a 1. So there is a 1 in here, that's not a 1. And in the column, 6 must be in here, so none of those is a 6. Here we have 6 and 8. Here we have, well, in this column, here we have a 6, and this is a 2-3 pair, which makes this a 1, which I could have found earlier, probably. So where is the next place to look? I'm seeing that this plus that, oh, well, that'd be interesting. So how do we do that? This digit here, that's interesting. This digit here does not appear anywhere in the rest of the cage and does not appear here by the rules of Sudoku. So this 1 or 2 must be somewhere in here. And that's the interesting point. If I try to put a 1 here, then the other 2 digits must sum to 16, which means that there are 9 and 7, but 7 does not appear in this puzzle. So there has to be a 2 in here. So this is 1, this is 2. 2 plus 15, and the only 2 digits summing to 15 are 6 and 9. So this is 6, this is 8, 9 does not belong here because of that. So that's a 9, that's a 2. So this is 11. We know because of this that those sum to 17. That's a total of 28, and the sum of all digits is 29. So that this is 1. And here we have 3, 6, and 8. Because there's an 8 here, we put the 8 there, and this now can only be a 9. Because of this 3, 6 pair, that's a 2, that's a 1, that's a 3, that's a 6, that's a 2, and that's a 3. Here we're left with 1 and 2 in the column, but there's a 1 here, so 2, 1, that's a 3, that's a 2. Here we need 3 and 8. Here we need 6 and 9, but there's a 9 here, so 6 here, 9 there. That's not a 6, and I had just overlooked this, which allows for the final disambiguation inside this puzzle. So that was the example puzzle in the instruction booklet. Now let's move on to the contest puzzle, which was the hardest puzzle in the round, and some people have specifically asked for a walkthrough of how you're supposed to solve it. So first thing, you know that the whole grid is covered by cages. So we can compute the sum of all cage totals, and I can tell you that this is 168 because this is what I chose. So it means that the sum of all digits in the grid is 168, which is 6 times 28. So 28 is the sum of the 6 digits we are looking for. It was 29 in the other puzzle, but this time this is 28. And there are lots of options for the 6 digits to do 28. So how do we move from that? Well, something to note is that the sum of all 12 digits here is 56, because we have 2 times 28, and the sum of all digits in those cages is 63, which is 7 more, which means that this is 7 more than that. So this digit will have to be 8 or 9, and this digit here will have to be 1 or 2. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that this is 20, so those digits here sum to 7. So this will have to be 6 or 7. No, those digits sum to 8, sorry. So this will have to be 6 or 7. And we can see that there is a difference of 2 between those two. No, actually those sum to 15. This is also something that could have been found. The sum of all those digits here is 43. Remove 28, so this plus that is 15. All right, next step, we can do something similar in here. The sum of all digits here is 50. The sum of all digits here is 56, which means that this is 6 less than that. So this will have to be 1, 2, or 3, and this will have to be 7, 8, or 9. And here is perhaps the most tricky part, is to note that one of the 3 options is impossible. The middle option with 8 here and 2 there is impossible because it would cause this to be a 9 and this to be a 1, which contradicts what has been established earlier, which is that the difference between them is 7. So that was probably the trickiest part in the logical solve of this, and by that I mean that it was always possible to bifurcate. And now there is another tricky part. Let's recall that the sum of all digits is 28, which means that the outliers of those four digits must sum to 15. Now, what happens if the digits here are 9 and 8, which would happen if this is 9. If this is 9, then this is 8. And what happens is that neither 8 nor 9 belongs in a 13 cage of size 4. This is something you must know if you're familiar with Kira Sudoku. So if we had 9 and 8 in here, then we would have 9, 8 plus those four digits, which would make us a total sum of 30 and not 28. So this option is impossible, which means that this is not 8, this is 7, and now this is 1, and now this is 2, and now this is 9, and now this is 6, by the differences that have been established earlier. And now we have almost all digits. We have here 16, 17, 19, 25, so the remaining digit is a 3. And those digits are 1, 2, 3, and 7, because we know that the outliers must sum to 15, so the outliers are 9 and 6. So 9 and 6 appear here, plus 1, plus 2. This is 9 and 6. So 7 goes here by Sudoku. Here we get 1, 2, and 3, but 2 is here, so that's 2, that's 1 and 3. And this is 6 or 9. This is the same digit as that. So where do we go from here? Well, 9 is nowhere in here, so 9 must appear in this cage with a 6, and the other two digits must sum to 5. What did I do wrong? 15. Oh, this is what I did wrong. Sorry, I did my math wrong. So we know that 6 and 9 do not belong in here. They belong in here. That's 15. 16, so the other digit is a 3. Sorry about that. So that's 3, 6, 9. Here we have the 7, the 1 and the 2, and this is 3. So sorry about this mistake. Typical Kanard mistake. So what I was saying, 9 is not here, so 9 must be here. So that's 15. The other two digits must sum to 5, so there must be 2 and 3. And regarding this, the 3 is here, the 2 is there, and this is 9. 7 goes there by the rules of Sudoku, 6 goes there, and that's 1, and that's 7. Right? So here we have 11. So the only way of achieving 11 with those digits, well, I would just say that this 3 goes there, and this is 2. That's not 3. So 10, those must sum to 8 without using those. There must be 2 and 6. And those are 1 and 7 in this order. This is a 6. That's not 6. This is 6. This is 9. And this is 1. Here we need 11. So there must be 2 and 9. So 2 here, 9 there. And the rest should just be straightforward, I think. I need a 1 somewhere here, so that's the 9, that's the 3, that's the 9, that's the 7, that's the 3, and that's the 6. So this is how to solve, how you were intended to solve this mini Kira Sudoku. And, well, this was definitely the trickiest of all puzzles in the set. Thanks for watching this video. See you soon on SudoKanard.